Albert AWOL, the voice of the jungle, broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. Thank you for joining us on episode 288 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom, here with Trevor and Damon. How's it going, guys? Been a while.
We're going to hit 300 this year.
We are, yeah, soon.
Oh, 300
we'll
episodes.
Probably do nothing, though.
No. Let's say that. We'll do a thing.
Okay.
I say a thing because I have no idea what, but we'll do something. Maybe we can do
12 weeks from now,
live
so
show.
that puts us in, what, March-ish, April? It will be nicer out, at least.
Kind of close to the anniversary when we started the show.
Actually, yeah, that's true.
Because we started in April, so...
Yeah. It's a good call, Trevor.
I say Trevor should just come down to Optimus Hall. I'll be honest with you.
We'll
just
do a live podcast.
You can fly down for the weekend, right? And we just do an episode from there.
Yeah, that'd be fun, actually.
If you guys can make that happen, I mean...
we can definitely make it happen. Can you make it happen?
We can start talking about that, because, I mean...
It would be cool.
I think that's a possibility.
Yeah. We have a fair amount of listeners in the general area of where Damon and I live. So, Damon, you've communicated with several, and I've had several around here. So, we could even make it that kind of thing where they can meet up with us too. So,
I would definitely do it from Optimus Hall. It would have to be a little warm out, right?
Yeah,
but that would work.
Yeah.
There we go.
How were everybody's holidays?
They were good.
Yeah,
good. I'm still not quite done with my holidays. I'm on my last day of vacation, that's actually the worst.
It is
when you know that it's like tomorrow you got to start back to work.
You got to remember how.
I'm on my last day of vacation as well, and I have calls at 7 a.m.
Ooh,
yeah. But there's always that thing when you first go back to work. It's like, what do I do again? I remember how to do my job, but I got to remember, you're just out for that long. Although I worked all last week, so I was already back. So, it's been good. Did you guys get anything cool?
I got all the stuff from Gravity Falls from the San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh, nice.
Oh, all the extended book stuff that he did?
No. Well, I got the Book of Bill. Then I got the Durables, which are the small little things. I got all those Gravity Falls. I got all of the character plushes from San Diego Comic-Con.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah.
It's a good haul.
That was good.
Yeah. I don't really do gifts anymore for me. Because I never know what to tell people to buy me, because we've talked about this before. If I want something, I get it, right? So typically in the past, I've asked people to get me Lego gift cards because I don't like spending I like doing big Lego sets, but they're expensive. They're $300 and above for the bigger ones, and I don't really love dropping my money on that. So usually I'll be like, all right, get me a Lego gift card. Well, it just turns out that I had a bunch of Lego gift cards from the past couple of years together, so I got myself a new set that I've been building, which has been nice. But outside of that, really, I didn't really get anything nice. So everybody else had a nice Christmas, though, for sure.
I got ramen for Christmas.
What?
No. So I like getting stuff from stuff from Japan or Korea and whatnot. Their food honestly is on another level sometimes. When you think about instant ramen over here, it's not very good, right?
Sure.
But the stuff that they have over there is actually pretty fantastic. And my wife ordered a bunch of different flavors of ramen. So I've been enjoying ramen from Asia that, honestly, I'm kind of the same way that it's anything that I really want, I'll get for myself. But stuff like that is nice because it's hey, I'm getting to experience something that I wouldn't normally, go out of my way for. So,
that makes sense. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff you want, though, right? I think my wife dreads the idea of trying to figure out something creative to buy me because, because as I said, I always, I if I want something, I get it. So it's not she could always give me a Lego set, which she has done in the past as well. But I also, so my daughter got these, my brother-in-law bought my daughter these temporary tattoos, temporary tattoos, right? you know, the little temporary tattoos that go on. Well, I don't know if you remember, but when I was a kid, those things never stuck on very well, and they would like start flaking off like immediately. Well, apparently the
day.
Yeah, in like a day. Well, apparently the temporary tattoo technology has advanced since then, because I still have a unicorn dinosaur on my arm from 2 weeks ago, and it will not go away. It's not even flaking off at all. Yeah, and I'm not joking. It's a unicorn dinosaur, which is, you know, it's an important distinction. It's a dinosaur that's a unicorn, not the other way around. That's what my daughter told me. So
I think you need to get a picture of that worked into the podcast release.
So,
yeah,
just the unicorn dinosaur.
Just add a picture of that and with no context.
No context at all.
Yeah. And people will figure out when they get this far in the show.
I just couldn't believe it though, because like, you know, those things always used to be so bad. They like wouldn't stick very well, and they'd immediately start flaking off, and like this one like stuck perfectly, didn't miss even a little piece of the picture, and it just won't come off. Like I tried to scrub it off and it won't come off. So, hopefully eventually it does, and I don't just have a permanent tattoo now of a unicorn dinosaur in my arm. But you know,
well, I mean, maybe that's just your new life, Tom.
It is. I'm unicorn dinosaur lifestyle. That's how I roll. No, I mean, it is funny though. Like, you know, looking at all the toys that my daughter is, you know, got that are, you know, just different and cool, and you know, from what, you know, we had as kids, what I had as a kid, and then what you guys had as kids, you know.
Oh yeah,
too. It's just amazing.
It's totally different world for kids' toys now.
Absolutely. So anyway, anything else you want to talk about from the holidays? I mean, anybody else do anything? I actually had somebody ask me, they're like, I was at the grocery store and the guy was like, you doing anything for New Year's Eve? And I'm like, no. Like, it's like, I probably won't even be awake. So
yeah, we didn't do much for New Year's Eve either. It was, I mean, you know, I like it quiet for New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I don't even stay up anymore. It's not even, yeah. Anyway. So Damon, I think you had posted in the group.
I have news.
Yeah. What's your news?
So I've decided, just based on me and Gen AI talking and things like that, I am not going to talk about anything other than Disney anymore on the podcast. Okay. It's just going to be Disney.
Okay.
So I will preface that by saying that, you know, there are a few things coming up, which I will say now. And unfortunately, you're not going to be able to hear about them again. I'm going to Epic Universe. I just decided. Okay. We're going in June.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Have to do it. Have to be there. Have to be there when it opens.
Sure.
I can't not go there. I don't know why. It's just pulling at me.
What does AI have to do with this decision?
So AI has told me that I shouldn't talk about this sort of stuff. So anything outside of Disney will not be talked about here. No more golden buttons. No more Damon's detours. Okay. None of that.
What?
It's all gone.
Why?
Yeah, it's all gone.
Wow. All right.
It's Disney stuff.
Okay.
So if you want to find out about that sort of stuff, you got to come to the other Facebook group. I have a Facebook group, which is going to be all personal stuff and things like that. Come find it. Rhubarb Travelers. Jeremy can't spell it.
You're doing it. Wait, you're doing a new Facebook group too?
No, there always has been a Facebook group, which Jeremy can't get into, which was when we were talking about non-podcasty stuff, but it will now be like trips and things like that are not Disney.
I feel like we knew this already, Tom.
Yeah, maybe I forgot.
You told us this last year.
I might have forgotten.
I may do a podcast. Not sure. Probably not. But, you know, you never know. But yeah, I'm strictly in for Disney now. Because that's what everyone seems like they wanted. So now they're going to get it.
All right. That's okay. I was a little scared at what your news was going to be, but okay. Because David didn't tell us ahead of time.
I don't ever tell it. It's got to be exciting.
Yeah.
And when you prefaced with, I was talking with Gen AI, I'm like, this could go anywhere.
I thought maybe you lost your mind and you're just talking to Gen AI now. That's all you do is have a conversation.
But it is scary.
We're actually talking to an AI now. Not Damon anymore.
Yeah, this is AI Damon. We're just talking to AI Damon.
That would be even better.
Yeah. Should we just get we'll just get all your Disney stuff. And then have the AI just talk about Disney stuff, and then you're good to go. You don't even have to do anything anymore.
I kind of would like that. Like, yeah, just build a model, build me a character.ai guy. Yeah, I'd love that. I like that idea. Okay, well, that's cool. So there you go. Disney only. If you want to talk about other stuff, you got to find the other Facebook group.
All right.
If you can't spell rhubarb, I can't help you.
The hilarious thing is, I don't think I'm not in the other Facebook group. So-
Well, because we talk about Disney stuff.
oh, well, yeah,
Yeah.
we do. But yeah,
I mean, so we have our
Okay
own
with-
messenger. What do you?
I'm okay with the others.
I was going to say we have like direct access to it.
Yes, you have direct Damon access. You just want to ask me a question, we can talk about whatever.
Yeah.
That's a fair point. I also I haven't been using social media as much lately, so I mean I don't really look at Facebook at all anymore except for our group. So,
I do, just for the fact that I build a book every year that the kids love. So
the picture, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I also did something too. So I don't know what spurred me to do this. I think I was just bored at work, to be totally honest with you, because anybody who has to work like the last week of the year, the first week of the year, there's like nobody around. There's nothing to do, like at least in my job. If you have like an office job, well, that's a lot of the cases. There's just not a lot of people around, and not much to do. So I just started messing around and looking at DVC contracts, and I think I've talked about this in the show before, that I have two different membership IDs because I have two different use years. I have two contracts in one use year and then one contract in another use year. And for the longest time, I've been wanting to sell the one that's in the other use year and then buy a new contract to replace that one in the correct use year with the other two contracts. So I finally did that. And so I put an offer out on it was 120 point Animal Kingdom lodge contract on DVC resale market. It's so funny. I don't want to be like the shill for our sponsors and our friends, but they're great. Honestly, I put the offer in, and within like a couple hours, I had an offer accepted, and all the paperwork was in, and the contract was already off to Rofer. Like, within
did you put us in the drop down, or did you just totally forgot?
Oh no, I put us in the drop down. Of course, I put us in the drop down. Yeah, no, I referred me. So,
good.
Yes. But I know I totally did us. But yeah, I'm ending up with 10 more points than I had before because the contract I'm selling is 110 points. I'll tell you this too. We have said in the ads before that 98% of their contracts sell within 30 days. Mine was gone in less than 24 hours. I got an offer, a good offer, and it was sold. So now I have a contract that's being sold, that's in the process of being sold and it's in Rofa right now, and also a contract that's being purchased. I'm going to tell these, listen, DVC is not an investment, right? We always say that all the time. It's not an investment. But what I will tell you is I did sell my Animal Kingdom contract for more than I bought it for. So I bought it for 109 a point, or I think I was actually 110 a point, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And now I sold it for 115 a point.
But what did you buy at? I'm just out of curiosity.
What do you mean?
Well, you sold one, bought one, right?
Yeah. So I sold a 110 and I bought a 120 both at Animal Kingdom.
But
so you can't. Well, I'm saying, what was the price per point on the sell on the buy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So on the new contract I bought was 109 per point, and then the one I sold was 115. So
that's not bad.
So yeah, you kind of broke even on it, you gained 10 points is really what you did.
I'm still spending maybe $1,000 in difference there, and plus you have to pay the dues up front for the year, which I don't typically do. I typically do the monthly, so that kind of factors into it too. But I was like, well, I just don't have to pay dues for the year.
Yeah,
it's
not the worst.
I guess the only risk there is if Rofer does, or on the one that you're buying, if it doesn't go through, then I
just have less points for this year, right?
Yeah, and then you have to go buy another contract, right? That's the only risk with this. But then you're selling, you get the money either way, because whether it goes through Rofer or not, you still get paid, right?
Yeah, exactly. Either way, listen, it's been a really great experience. If you haven't done it through a DVC resale market, they are great. They send you everything through. It's not DocuSign, but it's you e-sign everything. They give you very specific instructions on how to do everything. Mm-hmm. And thanks to Derek, by the way, for being patient with me, because so Derek sends these long instructions of screenshots I have to take of my member ID page. And I read most of the instructions. But I didn't read the part where it said you can't do it on mobile phone. You have to do it on a computer because the mobile phone pictures don't come out right. So I just did them all on my cell phone, and then I sent them to him. And he's like, oh, so close. Can't do it on your phone. And I was like, oh, man. I can't believe I didn't read the whole email. That's usually not me, but
it was the weekend between Christmas and New Year's.
It was.
You get a pass for not being awake. Yes.
Exactly. So I, in the end, we ended up bumping up 10 points, which is great. At about the same price I paid for an Animal Kingdom contract a couple of years back. So, and like I said, I sold the old contract for more than I bought I bought the old contract for less than what I sold it for. So now, I mean, I'm not gonna say I made a profit, quote unquote, but I got a lot of use out of that contract over the past couple of years, and now I'm selling it for more than I bought it for. So I can't complain that much.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and you're selling it to move up, right? Like that's the thing, is that you're benefiting all around. Like you're right. It's not to say that this is an investment and it's always going to be better, but you kind of, there was no downside to what you just did, I guess.
Yeah.
Is what
exactly.
I'm saying. Yeah.
It's a huge, and that's what I said to my wife. I was like, listen, it's a huge benefit to me because she doesn't usually book the vacation, but like anybody out there that has 2 use years knows how much of a pain it is when you have 2 different use years, because you have to like transfer points between the contracts before you can book anything with those points, right? Or do separate reservations and then merge them later. Like, I just want one pool of points that I can use for reservations where I don't have to make transfers all over the place. And so, and listen, I'll go back to when I bought this too. So I remember I bought this contract, and at the time, the DVC resale market was much smaller, and our contact there was Nick, who's the owner of a DVC resale market, and so I had marked him down at the time as the person to help me, right? Because I didn't want to play any favorites with like Derek and Marissa and all the other people we worked with, so I just put down Nick. And I remember this distinctly. Nick calls me and he goes, "Hey, you sure you want to do this?" And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, "Well, it's a different use year. It could be a little bit of a challenge to deal with that." And I was like, yeah, it can't be that big of a deal. It can't be that bad, Nick. It's fine, right? Like, but he called to warn me, and I was like, and he's like, okay. He's like, a lot of people do it. It's not that bad. He goes, if you don't care, and go forward with it. But obviously, I should have listened to Nick. But all will be remedied hopefully in the next few months here. Like I said, my contract's being sold, so I'm happy about that. And then the interesting thing too is the people I'm buying the contract from are from Australia, and I don't know if that's going to change anything on my side or not. I don't think so. It's probably just all work on their side, right?
Yeah, because it's just the membership ID gets not the membership, but the contract just gets transferred under your member ID. And
I guess I just mean with the closing piece, because it's a real estate transaction. I didn't know if there's stuff you got to do with that, but
I mean, maybe if there's something
not my
specific
problem,
to Australia, like when I've done it, it's it's kind of the same thing you went through. Is you just. You follow the instructions, and then they do all their legal stuff on the back end, and then you get a contract. Because
it is far too easy to spend a lot of money on DVC resale market.
It is, yeah, and that's why we have to be careful about it.
Yeah, because it's so easy. You just put an offer in, they accept it, then there's paperwork that comes into you. Like, and you pay a little bit at the front end, but then you pay the rest at closing, and it's like. It's almost weird because you're like, this doesn't feel right. I feel like I should be,
it feels like it should be harder.
Yes,
than it is. Yeah.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. I agree. Okay. Well, that's I think all I got going on. Temporary tattoos, new DVC contracts. All
right, we have some different topics here. So I guess what do we want to talk about first? I know you listed them in order here, Tom, but is there anything that anybody wants to specifically go at first? Because there's a few different weird subjects.
This is an interesting one. Yeah. So the first one I put on here was the EPCOT thing, just because I know you had mentioned that you've been sad that they haven't been doing anything with the hall, right? With where they said they were going to do all the art stuff, and they really haven't been doing that. Now they're going to do it for the Festival of Arts. They're going to have an actual exhibit there. So that was more for you.
Yeah. I mean, and that's fine. It doesn't. It's
if there's an easy way to get merch too. I mean, that's good, because I feel like that's one of those things where I'm walking back across the park to get something. Like, can I just get all the merch
in one place?
In one place, please. Yeah. Like, that would be great.
Yeah, that makes it pretty easy, right?
There was a shirt I wanted last time I was there, and I was like, I'm at the entrance. Like, I really got to walk all the way to the back of this park. Like, really?
Like, do I really have to do that?
Yeah.
I will say the app is nice for that though too. If you can like scan it at the store that you're at, like it'll tell you where it is and all the different. You can like see where
it told
is.
me it was in the back of the park.
It told me it was way too far to get.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, no, but listen, there's a lot of interesting news here. I definitely want to talk about the Bluey stuff, just personally, because I think we've talked about on this show a bunch that I felt like this was going to happen at some point. I'm actually kind of surprised that Disney just didn't outright buy them at this point, because Bluey is gigantic and still getting bigger. But the announcement while we were gone is that Bluey is going to be coming to Disneyland and Walt Disney World Resort and the Disney Cruise Line in 2025, which, listen, my daughter will lose her mind if she gets to do this, right? Like Bluey has been her favorite thing for quite a while now. And the fact that she's going to be able to meet, Bluey and Bingo and stuff at the parks is amazing. The one disappointment I had was that the Disney Cruise Line stuff they're doing is only from cruises that are coming out of Australia or New Zealand, which kind of annoys me. I want it elsewhere. I mean, maybe it's a rights thing.
Maybe it's a licensing thing, yeah.
But it's a rights thing. Yeah, I bet that's what it is. But it still annoys me. Like I got excited when I saw cruise, because I was like, oh, I'm going on a cruise in May. Maybe Bluey will be there in May, but obviously not, because we're not leaving out of Australia or New Zealand. So
seems like a you problem, man. You should have just left out Australia.
You should have just left.
Why aren't you flying to Australia to
take a cruise?
I made obviously a huge mistake. Instead of taking a ridiculously long flight, I'm going to take a 7.5 hour drive. But anyway, yeah, no, you're right. But the other part of this too is that they announced that Bluey is, and this has been speculated for a while now, because after the show it didn't end, but they didn't make any more yet. They announced that they're going to do a feature film, which is going to come to theaters in 2027, and of course Disney is going to be the one distributing that. So Disney acquired the global theatrical rights to Bluey, and so they're going to put it in theaters, and then of course it's also going to be on Disney Plus. And I'm sure it's going to be a absolutely huge hit. So,
my only worry with that is because so first of all, I'm going to preface this by saying that yes, my wife loves Bluey as well.
Okay. Lots of people do. Yeah,
it's a really good show. Like
it is.
Like I will be honest, it is a fantastic show for being a kid show. They do cover a lot of interesting stuff.
There's a lot of adult stuff in there. There's a lot of adult jokes. It's kind of like when we were kids, and the kids shows had a lot of adult jokes that went over your head until you were adults. Yeah,
exactly. So my only concern with it's great that Disney is making a feature film. My worry is that they're going to approach this the same way they've done with Star Wars and Marvel. Like to your point about it, it's really big. I feel like Disney needs to rethink how they approach this stuff, because it feels like they try and, milk a stone, so to speak, when it's like, there's too much, or they go in too hard on it, and then it becomes not as good as it could have been. Right.
Well, I will say though, Trevor, Disney is really just seeming like they're distributing this and putting it out there, right? So like the studio that makes Bluey is still doing it, like the creator's still doing it. You know what I mean? Like they're not really making the movie, I guess, right? Like they're just distributing.
As long as
it. Yeah,
fair, but as long as they don't get in with their, we think you should do it this way. Like, sorry,
yeah, I don't think they will.
I know, like Disney definitely has had their moments in the past, but it feels like lately they've been so blinded by, just churning out. Sorry, Star Wars is a great example. Like, there's so many Star Wars shows that it's like I could have watched it maybe if they weren't if it didn't feel like there was one coming out every 2 months kind of thing. Yeah,
I get it.
I'm just worried that Bluey is going to become there's going to be just a deluge of Bluey stuff that, Disney Bluey stuff. Like it feels like, the original stuff will be fine and, everyone will still continue to love it. But I actually disagree that I know you're saying I think Disney should have bought Bluey. I'm actually glad that they haven't.
That's fair. Yeah.
So
I kind of see it as their early relationship with Pixar, where Pixar made the movies and Disney just marketed them and put them out. Like that's kind of what they're doing here with Bluey, where they're just letting them do their thing, and then they're going to put the movie out and market it and probably make a big chunk of the merchandising dollars and all that. So yeah, I this is great though. I'm glad they're doing this because I like I said, I want more Bluey out there. My daughter loves Bluey, and will continue. I like watching Bluey. Honestly, again, it's one of those shows you can watch with your kids. It's because there's a lot of funny adult stuff in those episodes, and there's a reason why there's an adult fan base for Bluey. So
to your point about staying off social media, if you've been on there a lot. Or I do go on Facebook from time to time. And the thing I've noticed lately is, from inside the parks was during Christmas. I don't know if you saw all the Tally the Elf hype that was going on.
No, I didn't see that. No.
Oh, so during the parade, there's an elf called Tally that would go.
Oh, I did see. I'm sorry. Yeah, I did
interact. Yeah. So I'm predicting that Bluey is going to replace that on social media. You're going to have people just like putting their interactions with Bluey on social media.
I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be a thing for a while for sure.
I mean, Bluey's just too big. I mean, we talked about this last time. I think they're estimating that just Bluey, because really that's all they have is Bluey. Is the studio just does Bluey, and it's worth $1 billion. That's which is insane. But that's it is huge. And it got huge because of Disney Plus during the pandemic, and that really brought it everywhere. Ever since then it's just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. So like I said, I welcome this. I think it's great. I'm excited to see it. Yeah. So yeah.
All right. Do we want to, let's change gears and talk about The Simpsons.
So I put this on here because I knew both of you would be very interested in this. I feel like
I love The Simpsons. It's okay. Yeah, I like The Simpsons horror stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I like the horror stuff, but
yeah,
it's just okay.
I agree. Yeah, the Little Treehouse of Horrors has always been a great section of The Simpsons.
Okay, go ahead. We should talk about what this is.
Yeah, so the premise is Disney is surveying guests about including The Simpsons at theme parks, which is weird because it is at Universal.
I thought that ride's going away, though.
It might be. Yeah,
Yeah, you're right. That whole section is going away, I believe.
That's the most. I love that ride, but gosh, does it make you sick?
Oh yeah. Listen, I'm going to be interested. Are they taking out the whole Simpsons thing? Was that announced or is that just rumored?
I don't remember.
I thought, again, it's probably a rumor, but I thought that they were talking about in the parks or in Universal that like they were going to put something else there because they don't have. Like The Simpsons is all under Disney now, so it makes sense for them to replace it with an IP that they actually, or that Universal has, right?
Yeah, I mean, and this is not like the Marvel thing where they can't. I mean, I don't know if they have exclusivity, but from what I've seen is that apparently the contract that Universal has to use The Simpsons was a 20-year contract, and that means it would end in 2028. So we're sitting here in 2025, 3 years ahead of time. And, if Disney's going to want to build something around that, they're going to have to start the planning for it now. Right. Yeah. So they would have to make that decision soon if that contract's because you have to assume that if that contract is coming up in 28, that Disney's not going to continue to let them use their IP. Like, I just don't think they're going to.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. Yeah. Disney's.
But the thing with The Simpsons is, does it really fall within?
Does it fit the brand?
Yeah,
it doesn't.
Yeah,
no.
It doesn't.
This is the hard part: is that I feel like having The Simpsons in the park kind of puts it back to like MGM in the 90s. Like it's that same kind of edgier. Because like there used to be like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at MGM Studios,
Power Rangers,
right. Yeah. So it kind of has that same vibe.
It does, but I think they still fit better with the brand than The Simpsons.
Who you're saying Universal does?
No. What I'm saying is that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and things like that. I just think this is so off-brand for them. I don't know. I don't care either way. Like, I wouldn't be mad if I saw The Simpsons. I mean, they obviously have to be at Hollywood Studios. I don't think you put them anywhere
100%.
else.
Yeah, it's Hollywood Studios. Yeah,
but I don't think I'm mad either way. But I just don't see the brand. But like Trevor said, they used to have the Golden Girls houses. So I mean, right? Like,
yeah, they did. Yeah,
there was that.
They did have that. Yeah. Well, and Disney owns a lot of crazy stuff now, right? Like, I mean, Disney owns It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I mean, and that's not exactly a
crossover episode.
Oh yeah, the crossover episode with everyone's talking about that. I've never watched Abbott Elementary. My wife really likes it.
It's pretty good.
But I'm definitely going to watch that whole crossover thing, even though I don't really know the other show, just because I always. It's funny because back in the 90s, they used to do the crossover thing like all the time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
all the time,
yeah.
And that really has kind of fallen by the wayside. But now with Disney owning so many things, they can do stuff like this, where they own both shows, and they can do a crossover like this.
It's also interesting because I don't think those two shows, it's the same thing. I don't think that is on brand. So it's going to be kind of interesting. Yeah. I mean, The Simpsons, like I said, I'm not a huge fan. I don't dislike it. I think it's gone on a little too long, but I have friends that like just live by that. And, they've now, their kids watch it with them. Right. Like, and so I get it, I guess.
I heard the last couple seasons are good again. I heard it got good again, but I haven't watched it. So sorry, Trevor.
I mean, yeah, the thing is if anything runs long enough, there will be like good and bad sections of it. So yeah, I mean,
I just think it's too long.
Agreed.
It's been on for a long time. Yeah,
it's kind of the same, or it surpassed the Flintstones now, right? But
yeah,
but the Flintstones is the same thing where there was like eras of it where it's like as a kid growing up, like I watched certain episodes of the Flintstones and I thought, oh, like this was the Flintstones, and then all of a sudden you get like something like totally weird and different, and it's like
Scooby-Doo's like that too.
Yeah, same thing. It's like, is this like, did somebody like rip off the show, and then you realize no, it's the same show. They just like it just went on that long, right?
Yeah,
so yeah. I mean, I agree that The Simpsons probably ran longer than it should, but then yeah, the question here is, am I actually, if I'm in the park and I'm at Hollywood Studios, am I going to Simpsons Land or the corner of like, I don't know, like what do they even do with it?
Well,
like,
that's the question.
Do they
right?
just copy paste what was at Universal, or what happened?
No, I don't think so.
Right?
No, I don't think they do that. And that's, I guess, the question I have, right? Because they do say character. The survey says character meet and greets or new lands or attractions. The question is, do they go full out and build a whole,
think so.
Springfield, or do they just throw one ride in there that Simpsons?
I don't even know if you get that. I think that we're going to just get character interactions for a while and see how that goes. That's kind of my take. And then you can kind of limit what you want to do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, same thing when they had the Power Rangers and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles over there. There was character interactions. They were a little rarer too, which actually is even better. But you didn't have a ride for them. It just was kind of cool. Like, oh man, the Power Rangers are there. Cool.
Yeah. I mean, I think you might be right. I mean, I think you're right about that, Damon. Like, it will start as something like that, right? But again, it still doesn't even, the Simpsons really don't even fit Hollywood Studios either. Like,
no, not in its current form.
No. I don't know where it fits. It doesn't really fit anywhere in any.
You got to go throw them over by the city part.
The city, well, yeah. Well, there's not really that much of a city part anymore.
Yeah, I mean, whatever's left, that's where you got to throw them. I feel like, because that's where you used to see all the weird character interactions with Power Rangers and Teenage Mutant Turtles. At least for us, that's where we saw them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're talking about over by like Muppets.
That's what I thought you meant. Where like the streets of.
Sorry, I was thinking like the main boulevard and like going down towards Tower of Terror, but
oh no, I wasn't thinking that way. But that wouldn't be the worst either.
Yeah.
But I don't know where you stick. Where do you even stick like a?
There is a whole area there that feels fairly unused, I will say, because
you're talking about that whole Pixar area that's in between, like where where the Toy Story Mania entrance used to be before they moved it. Alley
out there, but
it's just empty.
Yeah, no, I was thinking. Yeah, that's good too. But no, I was thinking more like because there was like a market and there, like it was like
the market gets jammed though.
True.
It gets
It
packed.
does. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Sometimes though it's completely empty. So I guess
Yeah, it's true. It's either super packed or super empty. I
Yeah.
give you that.
that's
Yeah.
fair. But
I
yeah,
don't know.
you're right. The courtyard is actually that there is an entire courtyard that is unused at the moment.
What's left over? Because it's been a few years since I've been to Disney. What's left over when you're on your way to Star Tours? Right outside of the lakey thing. Like what's over there?
I mean, they still have there's the Frozen show in the one theater, and Indiana Jones is still over there.
But what was put into the American Idol area? Gosh, that's how long I feel like it's been.
Well, the
since
American
I've been.
Idol one is the Frozen show.
That's the
But then
Frozen show now. Okay.
There's that other theater though that has been used for a lot of things. I
Just
think it's still
random
a Mickey
stuff,
short. I think it's still
Yeah.
Mickey shorts in there.
Yeah, Potato Land is there.
Yeah, I think Potato Land is there. Yeah. Because it used to be. I remember when I went in like the early 2000s, there was like a Drew Carey sound thing
Yes,
there.
that was awesome with the bees.
Yeah,
Oh,
do you
yeah.
remember that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I did.
The Drew Carey thing was amazing.
yeah, I remember that. In fact, I actually had like an old man moment there where I was like, there were a bunch of kids making noise behind me. You know, they were like, you know, laughing and doing whatever, and I was like, "Hey, quiet down! Like, we're listening to this thing." You know, but yeah, that was a cool thing. I think it's just a Mickey short now.
Yeah, so yeah, that's fair. I guess there's a couple of sections at Hollywood Studios where you could fit something. Like it wouldn't be like
Just be characters.
yeah, just characters. But I guess could they even do? Could you get Simpsons shorts? I don't know.
Listen,
maybe.
Star Wars launch bay is just sitting there empty pretty much at this point.
Simpsons launch bay.
Yeah,
What character from The Simpsons though would you even want a picture with?
Krusty or Sideshow Bob for me.
Ooh, Sideshow Bob is a good one.
Yeah, I would do Krusty.
Mr. Burns, I think.
Mr. Burns would be cool. I would do
Mr. Burns, Sideshow Bob. That's what I'm going with.
Yeah,
I was going to say maybe even like having Moe's Tavern be a thing wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, but that seems off-brand. I feel like.
and they already had that.
So they have Olga's Cantina in Star Wars or in Galaxy's Edge. So you get bars in the park. Like what?
But it's like fancy though.
Yeah, Moe's can be fancy.
But it's but Moe's can be fancy. Did I just hear that?
Yeah.
I don't know about that. Well, no, I mean they already have Moe's at Universal Studios, though, don't they? They have, like where you can, So I mean,
true. Yeah.
I mean that would just be them. I mean, I don't know what kind of ride I would want to see, right? Because even really the Simpsons, the ride, right? Like you said, is a lot of fun, but it's like I don't know, does it make a lot of sense for the Simpsons? Like what would you make? What would you make as a ride that makes sense for the Simpsons? I guess
Skateboarding ride.
Yeah. Okay.
Give me a Bart skateboarding through town, but your vehicle is a giant skateboard.
Okay. Yeah.
Or like a stand-up coaster, but you're standing on a skateboard.
That would be cool. That seems off Disney brand too, but yeah.
It does.
I mean, they are doing the door coaster for Monsters Inc. So
that's true.
I got to see it first though before I consider what. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
speaking of rides, right, Tom?
What? Speaking of rides, what? Oh, the ride pass. You want to get off of this now? Okay.
Yeah. We're Simpsons out, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I would be interested to hear what people think about this, though. If they want Simpsons there, and if they do, what do they want, and where do they want it? I think that's an interesting conversation point. So, anyway, yeah. So ride patents, right? Just a couple. I love when these pop up because I think I'm just like a nerd about these things. But I don't really get the Disney one all that much. It's basically
what's the picture of the one that's right next to it? Is that the Disney one or the Universal?
The one that's right next to it is the Universal one.
But spider.
Yeah. The Disney one looks like it's for a rider controlled amusement park ride with a force sensor in the vehicle that guests can activate. By leaning forward or otherwise applying pressure, guests would be able to adjust the vehicle's position or speed in real time. Yeah. And then the picture shows like it kind of looks like a hang gliding ride. Yeah.
Here's the thing. I don't want to be in the thing with a bunch of bozos. This is always the problem.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
It sounds good on paper, but it's a bad idea because unless you
two teenagers up front, super young kid and mother in the back or father, just, a young kid or two young kids. Well, no, that wouldn't happen. But say mother, father with a young kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. The second that you have a party or you have a ride where it's mixed parties and
like Millennium Falcon, people hose you.
Yeah. Yeah. Same problem. It's, if you don't have control over the entire thing, then I'm thinking about this like from my wife's point of view, she does not like going fast. She has vertigo and all that. So, if there was somebody else that was making the ride go faster than she wanted and she couldn't, or, then you're fighting against the other person, right? Like that's such a weird premise for an idea of a patent. Like,
well, yeah. And listen, it's just a patent, right? So it doesn't mean they're ever going to use it, right? Because they patent a lot of stuff. They just have a research lab where they just research stuff, and then if they come upon something, they patent it. They don't always use it. Actually, Damon, to your point though, what I think of when I see this is I think of my experience on the Alpine coaster that I did, where nobody was in front of me, but the other people in our party, one of them went slow and the other one wanted to go fast, and they were just stuck behind them because they wouldn't go faster.
The Alpine ride is a tough one for me just in general because you can absolutely get ruined by other people. We always like kind of peek out and make sure we know who's coming, or you try to get on when there's like a gap because your ride can be ruined. The patent seems like the same sort of thing. I
guess unless you had like individual tracks for each ride vehicle, where everything was separate.
I think that's what Universal is doing with the Dragons ride that they have. You control your own dragon, but you're still part of the larger ride. That's okay.
Yeah. Just the way that this patent is looking is, like you said, they're showing the glider with like,
two Soarin' Part 2.
Two sets of two seats. The front people are like crazy about it.
Yeah. What if it was Soarin'? If that's the next iteration of Soarin'? 4 people, Maybe. Hang glider, Soarin'. I might have to then take back what I said because that would be the coolest thing ever.
That would be pretty cool, yeah. But it would be difficult for people that get motion sick or whatever. But I don't like you said. I don't know. It's an interesting idea, and it looks like too that the top part of this moves, right? So it's not stationary like Soarin'. It's almost like Peter Pan, where there's like a track above that's holding the vehicle.
Yeah, that's it looks like the top part is like you said, sitting on a track, and then I'm guessing it would probably control it in the same way that like how Indiana Jones or Dinosaur makes you feel like you're moving faster than you are by like pitching the vehicle and whatnot. So.
Well, Soarin' does too, right? Soarin' doesn't move all that much, but the actual video makes you feel like you're moving than you actually are, more than you actually are. So, Disney likes to do that trick a lot. So, Damon, are we allowed to talk about the Universal patent, or is that against your resolution?
As long as I'm not bringing it up, I'm more than happy to add to whatever conversation is needed.
I do find this one interesting. In my mind, I don't know what the application for it is, but it's basically they did a patent for a round ride system where ride vehicles are attached to arms and a wheel, kind of like Dumbo. But in this case, they have 2 separate drive systems so that you can independently remove some of the arms from the rest of them as it's still moving, which is I think that's what it's saying here, right?
I don't think it's as it's moving. I think it's for loading. It looks like it will be.
It can be controlled independently from the center wheel, but it doesn't say that it could. Yeah,
because looking at
while moving,
looking at the design, it looks like one of them is like off. It looks like for loading.
Yeah.
The scale of this though is way bigger than Dumbo because looking at these compartments, each one has got a bench that looks like it could fit 4 people. So you've got like 12 people per compartment. But then like you said, what are you doing with this? Because it's just going in a circle, right?
Yeah. Well, I guess because it can like tilt and they can spin or change angles or whatever. I mean, I guess you could do some fun stuff with that, but it's still a basic flat ride for the most part. I mean, it's still I don't know what they would use, or if they're going to use it at all, they might not. Right. Yeah. So again, Disney and Universal they have research departments. They look into stuff, and if they, research something and find it to be unique, they'll patent it and maybe never use it, but I'm still remembering, I don't know if you guys remember years ago, they had that patent for like that's similar to this the hang glider one, where it was like the application for it was that you were like with Spider-Man, and it was and you were going the ride vehicle would like swing through physical sets like you were. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. I mean, that one never got used as far as we know. So, but stuff like that, they just kind of will register anything, right?
So we should also, or we're obviously we're very visual learners around here, and we are all looking at the pictures. But
yes,
there is actually a second patent here that this actually sounds far more interesting than the first universal patent.
Really?
Yeah. So universal second patent is for a real-time proximity operation and object handoff. In other words, this is a system to seamlessly transfer large show elements like sets or props between moving platforms or robotic arms. Sensors would monitor and adjust the positions of the platforms while a manipulator moves the show elements to assure a smooth transition. See, that to me is way more interesting than these ride.
I just don't like sitting through shows at amusement parks.
So my thought on this is like in a ride, you have show elements in a ride where you'll have a set like I'm thinking about Runaway Railway, where they do some cool stuff with how some of the rooms transition between one version or another. Yeah. This sounds like the same kind of thing, but you could actually have instead of using like Disney, I feel I shouldn't say they cheaped out, but they got creative with using projector technology to do that. This is actually having physical elements move in and out of a scene, right? That's very interesting to me because this is actually we've talked about this a lot where it feels like projectors are the cheap and easy way to do it, but doing a system like this where you actually move physical items around as part of a scene, that's very interesting to me.
It sounds to me though I don't know if you've ever seen what the American Adventure Show is, because that's kind of what they do. They have a whole they have all these scenes that move in and out you used to be able to tour the underground area where this happened, but that's kind of what would happen is the curtains would close, the scene that was there would go away, it would go down under the stage, and then the next one would come and come up, and all of a sudden it's a whole new scene. But I mean, maybe this is using updated technology because obviously that one's been around for a long time, but it's a similar kind of effect, Yeah,
this is next level. Imagine using I'm thinking of this like they're talking about using robotic arms and stuff. This almost feels like having your set on how we the trackless ride systems, right?
Yeah.
Imagine if your sets were also on a trackless ride system where they could move around. So it's not just the set, but it also gives the ability that you can have different variations in it, right? The American Adventure stuff is, it's one scene or, it's pre-programmed to all work one way because, it was made so many years ago.
Yeah.
This sounds like, you could have, so many different variations of a scene because you can program the arms and stuff to move, all kinds of different stuff.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. It's maybe the more updated version of it, but yeah, I mean, you should definitely, if you haven't seen it, there's videos out there where you can see how it all works at the American Adventure, and it's surprisingly cool for such a simple show. So, yeah.
All right.
What else we got?
Okay, so I think the last thing we got here is a rumor.
Yeah,
this is a weird.
It's a weird one. Yeah. Well, I mean, it is, I guess. I mean, I feel like they're doing this thing where they're leaning into the villain stuff lately. I more than usual, right?
Yeah. So
actually, you know what? Sorry, Trevor, go ahead.
So the rumor is that Disney is looking at developing a Mother Gothel. Is it Gothel or Gothel? Mother Gothel film. So focusing specifically on the villain of Tangled.
Here's how I read this, Trevor.
Okay.
Villains Land is years out from now, right?
Yeah.
I feel like they're going to be doing a whole bunch of villains type stuff before that land opens as work-ins to the land, how they do this all the time. They do this all the time.
But we have so many other villains, so many other classic villains.
Yeah, but we don't have a lot of movies that are focused specifically on the villains, I guess, right?
But to Damon's point, they could use so many of those other villains.
They can.
Why Mother Gothel?
She's a pretty good villain.
Yeah. And especially if we're getting a Tangled live action, right?
That's true.
We know that's in development, so why more?
It's a good question. That's a good. Well, we don't even really know.
Yeah, this is a rumor. We don't know this is happening, but the speculation is, I think what people are pointing towards, and it says here in the article, is they're suggesting that Catherine Hahn play Mother Gothel from she was Agatha from
Not a bad option
all along. Which I think that's more people are just finding reasons to use their favorite actor, and it's less about people necessarily loving Mother Gothel as a villain.
Yeah.
Because I guess I don't hear about it a lot. I hear of people that really love Tangled, but there's a subsection of people that like villains, and Mother Gothel doesn't come up as like a villain favorite.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what they do with it, right? Because they even mentioned in this article, right? Is it going to be like a Maleficent thing where they retell Sleeping Beauty from the, from her perspective, or is it like an origin story? Like an origin story might be interesting, right? Because you only really see up until when she,
she started as like the corrupt, she was after the flower and all that, right? So
there might be some interesting things before that. I mean, I don't know, but. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if they do this. I mean, again, this, like you said, it's a rumor, and who knows if it's actually going to happen. But I mean, I'm sure Disney is developing a lot of things that are never going to come to fruition,
Yeah, but it is an interesting rumor, and like you said, the fact that the Villain's Land is coming. I guess I wonder how much we are going to see of villain stuff. Maybe that's the new, that's the next Star Wars arc, is that they're going to, bash us with so many villains movies that we're going to get sick of it before the land even comes.
Well, I could just see them, just the way that they do their why am I forgetting the word for it? But the synergy of all what they do, like where they have the movies that lead into the parks, and sometimes the parks go back to the movies, and so like I could see them doing this thing where they do a bunch of villain movies that are part of the Villain's Land later on, as a way of hyping up the Villain's Land before it happens. It's just a thought, though. I mean, I know nothing. I'm just knowing how Disney operates and how they like to try to tie things in. I mean, listen, the whole reason Splash Mountain was called Splash Mountain was to promote the movie Splash.
True. And then it got turned around. That's fair.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I could see them doing this. They do it, better than anybody, pretty much, integrating all that stuff. So it wouldn't be surprising to me if they did that, but they might not. I don't know. Maybe they're just, doing a villains thing now. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't want to like you said, I don't want to discredit, Disney does have a larger intent on this stuff. And I mean, I guess this wouldn't be a rumor or I guess it's not fair to say that, all rumors have a basis in truth, but you're right in that Disney has been doing a lot of stuff with positioning villains for Villain's Land. Yeah. And this does make sense. Like, I guess it does make sense if they're planning for this particular villain to be in the park. Maybe, doing a movie for them is a good way to, help bridge that, where, I guess they don't want people showing up and going, oh, I'm here for villains. And everyone has like an expectation, or, everyone has their favorite villains, right? Sure. And the thing is not all of your villains are going to end up in the park. Like, we all think that we know what villains we're going to see, but realistically, like, Disney's going to tell us what villains are going to be in the park, and that's the ones that are probably going to get the movies.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know if I have a favorite villain, if I have to think about that.
Really?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who it would be.
Mine's easy, but I think you already know it.
Do I? Turnabout.
I've said it. Yeah, exactly. I've said it so many times. You said it so many times.
I'm even though I'm coming off vacation. I'm not. My brain's not working at full capacity. All right. Well, I think that's all we had to talk about today, right? Like, listen, there was a lot of part of the reason why we don't do shows in those last 2 weeks is there's not a lot going on, right? Like, Disney's not announcing things, and there's not a lot of going on.
As everyone wakes up from their turkey comas and whatnot, we'll start seeing more stuff here.
It was a ham coma in my house.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Usually turkey at Christmas. We actually did roast chickens, which was really good. Nice. And then we made poutine with the gravy afterwards, which was fantastic.
Nice. We actually did. I feel like I was more than anything sweet stout. Like we had so many sweets in my house, like cookies, and I bought some ridiculously priced caramels off the internet that were really good. This
just sugar overdose.
Just sugar overdose. I mean, it's just a crazy amount of food. We had so much food. I just given I had a lot of people in my house, right? So it was not. I was not just by myself here. There was a lot of people.
And I know. So, okay, I'm going to give people some behind the scenes because we do that. Yeah. So I think it was like a couple of days before Christmas, you and I got online. We played mini golf.
Yes.
And your sister was at your house as well. And so I was kind of hearing through your guys' headsets
all the monotony behind me,
the chaos that was going on. And your house sounded extremely busy for the holidays, which was very funny because you guys were trying to play mini golf and it sounded like people were like poking and prodding you as you had your headset on.
Typically when I VR, I do it by myself, specifically because when you have a VR headset on, you're in a very vulnerable position because you can't see anything.
Also, it's dangerous too because you can hit people around you without realizing it.
Yes, but of course, everyone was, poking me or tapping me on the shoulder. I think somebody punched me in the stomach at some point.
You just wanted to play mini golf. Yeah,
I just wanted to play mini golf, and that's what I get. So anyway, but I'm glad. I hope everybody had happy holidays and had happy New Year. I guess if you stayed up for New Year's, if you did something fun. I haven't done something fun for New Year's in a long time, but hopefully everybody's holidays were great. I know mine were, and I know you guys had great holidays. So just hoping the same for everybody. But
looking forward to how this year is going to play out. I'm sure it's feeling like it's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, should be. Be. All right, so let's wrap it up.
Yeah. All right. How do I do this again?
Again, you got to remember how to do your job, right? Like we were just talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is me getting back to work. You guys are getting me before I'm even like back in work mode. So this is going to be really scuffed and it'll be fine. Okay. So, as usual, if you guys have any questions about anything that we talked about on the show, you can always reach out to us at welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. We love getting your questions and hearing your own trip reports and all that kind of stuff. And, we talked about, we weren't on social media a lot, but we do have social media for the podcast. So you can find us on Facebook as Welcome Home Podcast. You can find us on YouTube also as Welcome Home Podcast. You can find us on Instagram as Welcome Home Pics. On Facebook, we do have the group Welcome Home Disney Waitlist, where we talk about, stuff from the show. There's people that post memes about, things that we said on the show, which is always fun to see. I always love seeing people get creative about, things that we said in the moment and didn't think would be a big deal. But
can I mention that? I think it was Francisco posted a meme of me on a magic carpet, and I didn't see it for like 2 weeks later, and I was like, what is that even in reference to? I don't remember what that was for.
you said something. I think it was either the last episode or like second last episode. You said something, and then I followed up with saying, like, you said something about showing people the world or something, and I said, showing somebody Disney World, and I said, well, I can show you the world, right?
Okay, well that's what it is then. So but it's just funny because I didn't see it till I was just like on social media blackout during the holidays, and then after the holidays I just was like flipping around and I saw it and I was like, wait, what is that in reference to? I don't remember saying anything about this.
I think it was you had somebody that is going to Disney World and they needed guidance. You were showing them the world. Yeah.
Got it. Makes sense now. I get it. Very clever meme. Nice work.
Yeah. So like I said, if you want to see more content like that, check out our Facebook group. And if you want to help support the show, you can go to store.welcomehomepodcast.com. You can check out our different merch there. We've got, all the usual stuff, t-shirts, mugs, hey, I'm going to push the fanny packs. This might be, the year where fanny packs are hot. You never know. Yeah. So, you can get your fanny pack early in the year. And yeah, exactly. And similarly, we also have a Patreon. So you can go to patreon.com/welcomehomepod and check out our different levels of Patreon support, which have an exclusive Patreon logo that only our Patreon listeners get. And Anybody who does support us through Patreon gets access to the Discord server, which is yet another place that we have conversations about all the stuff on the show, and just have those great Disney and other conversations, but mostly Disney. So
Discord will get to see the unicorn dinosaur tattoo before anybody else. So
nice. All right,
I'll take a picture of that and share it on the Discord, and there you go.
Looking forward to seeing that on there.
It's not even a great picture of a unicorn dinosaur. Whatever.
It doesn't matter. It's good. And last but not least, if you guys are listening on iTunes or Spotify or anywhere where you can leave us a review, or leave us stars. First of all, the stars help more people find the show. It's just how things work nowadays. So it helps us get promoted and helps us find new people to listen to the show. And then also you can write us reviews on iTunes, and we love seeing what you guys say about the show. So please leave us a review.
Yeah, and the other thing you can do is subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast so you can be reminded every time we release a new episode. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube Music, just about any podcast app that's out there. You can find us. Just search for Welcome Home. And by the way, if there is one that you want to listen to us on and we're not on it, just email us and I'll put us on there. We want to be everywhere, so let me know. Just a reminder to our listeners, Welcome Home Podcast is for entertainment only. We are not employed by the Walt Disney Company, and as such, all opinions we express on the show are our own. So please consult a DVC cast member or a Disney cast member for more information about anything we talked about today. Join us next time for more Disney Parks discussion. Of course, more DVC talk. We hope to see you all real soon.
This is Skipper Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Do a huddle when we hit its hair. How she can cuddle is no man's affair. I looked around from pole to pole, found her in a sugar bowl.